I'm Dr. Roberto Olivardia. I'm a psychologist at Harvard Medical School, and today I'm going to be answering some of the internet's biggest questions on dyslexia. Is dyslexia genetic? It sure is. There's a 50 to 60% chance that a child will have dyslexia if one of their biological parents has dyslexia. We know that it runs in families. Your chances of having dyslexia are higher if you have a sibling with dyslexia. So, yep, it's in the genes. Is there more than one kind of dyslexia? The truth is that dyslexia manifests in many different ways with different people. Some people with dyslexia really have a hard time with reading fluency, others with reading comprehension, others with breaking down words into sounds, and others with the automaticity of rhyming words. It can show itself in many different ways. But dyslexia is a very specific learning difference, very different than dyscalculia, which affects mathematics. It's not a math dyslexia, it's its own thing. So although it can manifest in many different ways, there's only one kind of dyslexia. Does dyslexia affect speech? Yes, many people with dyslexia may have issues with speech. In fact, many of them as young children might have speech delays. Speech issues can manifest in very different ways for people with dyslexia, including pronouncing words correctly, putting the right emphasis on the syllable and syllable segmentation. For example, when I was in the 10th grade, I read the line, "He howled at the moon like a lunatic," and had no idea what I was saying until my teacher said the word is lunatic. I went, oh, okay. Sometimes it's word retrieval and finding a word quickly and more fluidly. Sometimes people with dyslexia will say the word for one thing when they really mean another. So instead of volcano, when they really mean tornado. Sometimes there are made-up words that they don't even realize they're saying. So these issues can manifest in many different ways for people with dyslexia. Does dyslexia affect writing? Yes, dyslexia can affect writing in many different ways. First, in actual handwriting. There's something called dysgraphia, which is characterized by individuals who might have difficulty with fine motor movements, copying, pasting, cursive writing, which can be very tough for a lot of folks with dyslexia. Poor spelling can make it very difficult to write. And all the executive functions of writing, organizing your thoughts, writing with fluency, could be very difficult for people with dyslexia. Now, all of that combined certainly impacts the speed of how somebody can write. So imagine being a student or being someone at work and all of your coworkers and your peers are getting through stuff a lot quicker than you are because you're slowed down by all of these challenges. So yes, dyslexia does affect writing, and it can be really frustrating, not only in the process, but how you feel about writing in general, because it's such a laborious task for a lot of people with dyslexia. Also, in case you missed it, be sure to check out part 1 of this video. I answer more questions like, can people outgrow dyslexia, and much more. Are people with dyslexia more creative? Well, certainly there are lots of people with dyslexia who are creative, and lots of people with dyslexia that are not. There are lots of creative people who do not have dyslexia. So it's not that one necessarily informs the other. However, having dyslexia and being someone that needs to navigate things a little bit differently, maybe you think in outside of the box sort of ways, could certainly lend itself to creativity and creative problem solving. Does dyslexia make you more likely to be left-handed? No. However, studies show that people with dyslexia have mixed hand preference, which means that there are some activities that they prefer to do with their right hand, such as writing or coloring, and other activities that they prefer to do with their left hand, such as holding a baseball bat or playing guitar. What strategies help people with dyslexia? Well, there are many assistive technologies that can be super helpful. Things like speech-to-text software, dictating notes into your phone, using AI resources to help construct emails. People with dyslexia can use podcasts to gain knowledge and information, or enjoy listening to an audiobook. There are many different ways that people can be helped with assistive technologies and different strategies. But the most important thing is, how do you learn best? What helps you the most? Once we can understand what helps us the most, we can then self-advocate, whether it's in the workplace or in the classroom, to have resources available to us so that we can succeed. Have any questions we didn't answer? Try asking the Understood Assistant, a free chat tool on understood.org. It'll give you quick answers and customized tips based on expert-vetted resources. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe for more content like this.